Welcome everybody to a very special episode of Flair Lifestyle. Today I'm going to be sitting down with Tom Dyer and Andy Collinson from the WFA. Why? Well, it's 2018 and the WFA have changed their scoring system yet again. Last year we spoke with Andy about the 2017 changes and he was excited to tell us all about it. I don't want to give too much away, but suffice to say I am very excited to get those two boys on this couch and we're going to ask them what the changes are, why they're changing, and just how they plan to push Flair forward in 2018. So without further ado, let go! Can you please say hello and what your name is?
Hello and what your name is. What a funny mother.
Hey guys, how are we doing? My name's Tom Dyer.
Hi, how you doing? My name is Andy Collinson.
Yeah!
Alright guys, so first off, thank you very much for sitting down and talking to me and my camera.
Hey camera.
Hey guys. So in past discussions that we've had sitting on couches, you've mentioned that changing the scoring system was due to learning lessons and trying to push Flair forward. Please comment.
We were trying to push Flair forward. Basically, we thought that it was becoming a bit split snatchy. Let's see how much shit we can throw. And it started to look a little bit messy and samey, and the styles weren't coming out. People were just going for too much. Oh, look what I can do! So we need to change that shit, you know.
Yeah, it was. I think just to go through like the backstory a little bit on how these changes come about. It's not just me and Andy sitting there going, "Oh yeah, let's just do this," you know.
Yeah, it's him.
It's the judges. The judges, like Grand Slam judges, come up with suggestions. Roadhouse judges, lots of other judges, previous competitors as well. So sometimes we put this out to everyone, you know, within the Flair world, or certain people within the Flair world, and get their opinion. What do you want to see? How do you think Flair is moving? And how is changing the scoring system going to change that? And how do you want to see it grow moving forward? Because it's always changing. And I think we got to a point where it was quite stale. And like Andy said, it's very, very much the same, and there was no excitement. We just kind of reached a plateau on one point, and then that was it. So it was time to change the scoring system and see how or what direction that Flair would go from that.
Nice!
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 Hi guys, my name is Tom Dyer, and this is
Andy Collinson.
Dyer.
The past 2 years, you've changed the scoring system each year. Do you see this becoming a yearly thing, a set thing?
No, we don't know when we're going to change it. We don't, like Tom said, when we put it out there to the people, the circle, and we get their feedback on it.
Is there like an inner, like a magic circle, but in
It's
Flair?
like, kind of like the Masons, you know, you may see us at Flair comps shaking each other's hands like this and shit. If you ever see that, just kind of look the other way.
Who's in this magic circle?
Can't tell you, but we'd have to then bury you under the ground.
I mean, there's
with Flair Co bottles.
Grand Slam judges, Roadhouse judges.
Serious answer.
Serious now. Previous people involved in Flair, so sometimes Tug Vandenberg comes into play when we speak to him. We speak to Tomek occasionally now, he's not competing. And there's been other Flair legends, let's say, who've been in some of the other discussions that we put out there and said, right, what do you think, you know, about the judging system at the moment? If you could make it anything that you wanted to make it, what would it be? And then you get a feedback. And plus there's also all the competitors that we speak to at every con. And they say, oh, I think there should be this in there, oh, I think there should be that in there. So we're trying to listen to what people say.
We don't always make everyone happy.
No, of course.
Some people are more happy with the new change in the rules with 0 drops. Or drops not counting. Some of them aren't, you know, so you can't really please everyone. So you can't, you know, we've just got to take it on board with what everyone else is saying and go, right, we think that the best thing forward off the information that we've gathered and our own thoughts as well to see how we should change the scoring system.
What's the question again? It's dependent on how Flair is growing forwards, what people are doing, and a scoring system sort of in some way molds the direction of Flair.
Yeah. Definitely.
You know, so it's a suppose it's quite a big burden, isn't it, right?
Yeah, of course it is.
It's quite a big responsibility to try and get it right so that, you know, people want to move forward with it and develop their flair and grow with it. So it's not something that we take lightly. It's not something that just happens like this. There's you know, there's a lot of thought process got into it from the X amount of years that these people have been involved in flair and what they think of it and how they've seen it from the 1990s until now. It's almost 2020.
Yeah. We were finding that it was the drops were becoming too important for the judges, you know. So they were like, okay, well, how many drops have they had, kind of thing. And that's probably because we'd made the drops, you know, the more you drop, the more points you're going to lose and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so we obviously gone from this going crazy stuff to people doing more thought out, balanced routines that were looking better on stage. So when we got to that point, we're like, right, okay, cool. But then it was like, okay, so now we're getting that. That's what we're getting, and our finals are looking good like that. But then it was comes to the fact of, you know, someone would do a routine, have a couple of drops, a few drops, and it would really ruin their routines and the chances of winning, kind of thing. Because of when they dropped, regardless of when they were doing it during the move or whatever. So, for example, they could be doing it halfway through, they could completely that move up, you know, and it could go blah, 4 drops. Okay, you shouldn't penalise that on your scores. But then they could be landing that move and at the end of it just dropping a shaker off the bottom, which you find it hard to penalise that, but they're getting a deduction for that. Whereas now they're not, you know. But if they do the whole if they do. So if they do this big move, you know, and fucking all up, it all up, then they'll still get penalised because the judges will know, you know what I mean? So they're not going to mark them as well. Okay. So they were kind of being penalised twice.
Yeah, absolutely, because you're not scoring the full points you can for the move, and you're also getting a deduction.
In some weird way, I think the drops are probably more important now for the judges to see when the drops are happening than what they were before. Before it was just, okay, 7. You know, whereas, I mean, someone like Dennis who does a 7 object move, maybe he's nailed the whole of his routine and then tried one move, which is 7 objects, dropped all 7, but that's only one move. But in the old system, he's been minus 35. Yeah. With this new one, it's like, well, everything else was nailed. That one time, he'd obviously close his eyes or something, but you can't penalise him that much for that one move which he missed.
So one move in a routine.
Exactly.
What we don't want, and what everybody doesn't want, is to go back to the other way, which is then going, hey, no drops! I'm going to get at my 23 shakers again at my 54 bottles.
Exactly.
You know, we don't want to go back that way, because then we're like, oh, we're back to square one.
What do you think you've learned since changing the rules in the past 2 years?
I think... Exactly. That's what we've learned. Yeah, what we've learned, I think, is that more people are reading the rules and the scoring system these days. People are paying more attention to the scoring system, maybe sometimes a little bit too much, and really diving really deep into the detail, which is a good thing to a certain extent, but at the same time, we still want to see people interpret these scoring systems and the rules in their own way. I think that we've learned, well, I've learned that it does help mould the direction of Flair a little bit, and what people are doing when they're being scored by this scoring system. And that's when, you know, we started to realise a hell of a lot more that each time we're making these changes, it's got to be for the right reasons. It's got to be thought out a hell of a lot, because as we've seen, you know, it comes with conflicts, and sometimes people like it, sometimes people don't like it, and that's what we've got to deal with, and that's what we're trying to better ourselves at, to make sure that when we do make these changes, it's going to be better for Flair. Not just for this person or that person, it's going to be better for Flair and the community of Flair in the bartending world.
Personally, I've always thought that you can always do better. I've always wanted more. I've always wanted, ever since I've first seen it and ever first judged competitions or whatever else, I've always said, you can always do that little bit more. You can always keep pushing it. You used to always say, Tommy used to get pissed off, and he'd be like, yeah, but you can just do it. And he'd be like, you're not just... No, because it's never going to stop, and it'll always go more, and you can always push it to get better.
with all the different objects that are available that you can use behind the bar on
Yeah.
stage, and all the different ways that your body can move, the possibility of moves that can be performed are infinity.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that, you know. So
Okay.
that's, I mean, obviously that's to do with originality, but that's also going to go into difficulty and just flair in general.
Yeah.
And this is also why Grand Slam judges, they're told they cannot give 60 out of 60. They can't give the maximum points when they're scoring someone, because you can always do better. You can always go that one step further. So
always push yourself.
yeah, so there's push.
What has actually changed in the rules this year?
So this year, the major change is the taking away of the drops and spills and breakages. So I mean, there's nothing major in terms of the scoring system, but that's the biggest part, taking away the drops and spills. I mean, we tried it out in a few competitions last year at Roadhouse, the Roadhouse Grand Finals, excuse me, and another smaller competition. And it seemed to work very well. The judges got along with it, and so that's why we've made that decision. There is also the changing of the weight of the scores, which means that, for example, in Flair Mania, choreography is worth more points, and so is originality, whereas difficulty is worth less, and relevance, I think, is still the same. Whereas another Grand Slam competition, difficulty will be worth a lot more, and difficulty will be worth a lot more, and originality will be worth less. So the idea behind that is to push people to do new routines. So again, it's the idea behind that is to try and get people to do different routines.
Yeah.
So try and encourage, a little bit of differentiation from one Grand Slam comp to another.
I think on that is that because some people, different bartenders, have got different skill sets and they excel in different sections more.
Exactly.
And it is very difficult to say, because when we sort of say, what would you like to see more of, and some people say, in fact, a lot of people want to see more original new stuff all the time, Stuff. People want to see originality more kind of thing, because people want to see new stuff all the time. Wow, that's some new stuff, But then you can't have people that do have great choreograph routines that really think about that, and put it together. So you kind of saying, well, you'll have a chance of winning a Grand Slam competition, but we're kind of saying, might.
Yeah. It's like the Formula One. There's different racetracks which will
suit different cars.
Exactly. So it's trying to diversify it a little bit and change it up so that different people have different advantages.
Exactly.
Nice.
I want to see the stuff, the original stuff you may have. You have some stuff for me?
Because Tom always did different routines all the time. Always had a different routine. Every time, Never ever did the same routine.
A little background behind the WFA.
Yeah.
Who originally set it up, and what was the original idea behind
Me! It's all me! I did it! We set it up. Have we ever told the stories? Everyone knows the story, don't they? We set it up because we were doing the first Sky Global Flair Challenge.
Just to let you know, I actually wasn't part of the original conversation of setting it up.
He was about...
That four-eyed prick cannot be part of this,
He was about 20 metres away.
Yeah, just listening.
He was! What are you guys talking about? Look at that, Tom. Just go over there. Just go over there. The reason why Tom wasn't involved in the original setup of it is that Tom was one of the best competitors in the world and the chance of winning everything. So it's like, hey, dude.
You can't be a part of it.
You can't be fucking part of it. You can't be going, right, we're the governing body of it, and also the guy that's going to win everything for the next few years is going to be thinking. So it didn't really look right. Plus, he was a 4-hour prick and didn't look right. Fuck off! Fucking off! Back to your trial shift at Roadhouse. No chance, dickhead! We're part of the FBA. And we were FBA Europe, and Tug was the head of FBA Europe.
Just quickly, Tug Vandenberg was one of the guys that helped set it up at the beginning, and he was involved with Flair a lot. South African guy, lived in London, used to organise the Roadhouse competition, and now he's not involved in Flair. Back to Andy.
Yeah. And he was, so he ran the first Sky Flair Global Challenge with the FBA. The FBA were the governing body of the Sky Flair Global Challenge. And we didn't necessarily agree with the way they wanted to do things, the way they wanted to score routines. We just didn't get on. We had different views in the way that we were doing it. Because back then, it was very much kind of, there was an American style and a European style. And there was. You know, we were more bottles, tins, they were more kind of the juggling kind of style, you know. And we didn't kind of agree in the way forward that it was going, you know. So at the end of that competition, we sat out the back of this nightclub in Monaco on the steps overlooking the
Promenade.
water. It's actually a bath, not water. We sat at the back of the Caramon, which is the club we did the final, and we sat there, and it was me, Fabio, Tug, and Christian Delpeche, and we sat there and we went, we don't agree with the way this is going.
Fabio didn't speak English back then either, did he?
Yeah, he doesn't speak it now either. but he sat there and we thought, this isn't the right way of doing it. We should set something up our own because we believe we can do it in a different way. Different means better. Sorry, didn't want to say that, but anyway. We want to do things slightly different. Different scoring systems, different way of competitions go, different way of pulling people onto a tour.
Did you anticipate it growing to what it grew into today, and like has it evolved much since like that initial conversation?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, of course. We set it up with zero cash, and we had to put money in to get it going and get a website and blah blah. And it's a constant challenge. And everyone always like, oh WFA, you guys, blah blah blah. You know, we put not all of our time because we have to have businesses that make us money to pay bills. We put a lot of our spare time into it, and it's not for monetary gain, it's pure passion. And that's what it is, you know, and everything that we own, we try and put back into the website to build this, build proposals, put on competitions at a loss, you know, lose money on it, things like that, because we want to do it, because it's passion, and it's fun. It's so much fun.
Yeah, exactly.
So much fun.
When they brought me on board, the concept that we had was to try and make it accessible to every Flair bartender in the world. I think, you know, from the views that I had of FBA, that was kind of monopolising the Flair world in some respects. And we thought, well, it's only going to be healthy to have a competition, like two associations, to try and build Flair and compete against one another and grow. And they have their tour and we have our tour, and just try and get every Flair bartender in the world who don't have the opportunity to compete in the biggest and best competitions, try and give them something, you know, try and give them some kind of motivation as well. Try and give them some ownership of the WFA brand. And that's when, you know, Andy came up with the WFA gradings idea, which was something for people to sort of work towards and grow towards and try and get involved with. And obviously the Grand Slam, it changes the competitions throughout the year, each year, but we try and make them as much as possible all around the world. But that does, again, it changes depending on where the competitions will happen.
Yeah.
You say I'm a yellow belt karate, you know that
You could kick his ass! But if he was a black belt, you're like, sorry mate, what's your name again? Good guy, right?
So, but it hasn't changed much from there. You know, we always try and stand by the values of what it was set out to do, was to grow Flair, to motivate people, to build Flair globally around the world, and to try and make it better, more professional, and more accessible to everybody who wants to be involved in it.
Yeah.
Do you guys consider yourself the NBA of Flair bartending?
No.
Why not?
I don't know. I just get.
In all fairness, there aren't many governing bodies of Flair bartending other than
That's because, like we said back to before, you know, it's not financially rewarding to do it. You'd be mad to set up a Flair Bartending Association now. Tell you what, that's a good idea. Let's do that.
Not enough people in the world that Flair.
Exactly. It's not a big enough market. That's our job, to make that market bigger. That's what we've got to do. You know, 12,000 database, lots of people doing the grading test. Fantastic, really good. But we want more. We want to push it more. You know, and we've been through some dark times. You know, of Flair being at its peak, where we're going around the world doing King of the Ring and blah blah, and there's 20 grand prize money and all that. 2008, I think it was, when it just went. And all of a sudden it was like, hey, what? Flair bartending? Ha! Dickhead! I'm a mixologist. It's like, So we went through this period of then competitions of no one having any money for competition. Literally, you know, if you got together £2,000, you know, it was like, oh, right, okay. There was nothing happening, and we had to go through those times. We're still pushing the WFA and go, hey,
me a favour, change the rules again.
Sorry, I totally got sidetracked by Tom's orange bottle with some mad stickers around it.
Good luck to everybody in 2018 and all the competitions. Your feedback is always welcome on anything that we as the WFA do. And if there's anything in Flair bartending which you think needs changing or making better, then do it, you know.
How can they tell you?
You can get in touch via email, which is info@worldflairassociation.com. You can send a message to our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/World Flair Association, or you can go to the World Flair Association website, which is worldflairassociation.com, and leave a message on one of the comments of the competitions.
Or write us a letter. Why not? Write us a letter. I tell you what, the first person to write us a letter, we will send you a goodie box of WFA goodies. Yeah. So, write us a letter. Yeah?
Where can I post the letter to? Post
What? Used to be bigger. WFA, Unit 19, Westbury Close, Townsend Industrial Estate, Dunstable, Bedfordshire, LU5, 5BL, the United Kingdom.
Don't forget to put your name on it.
And a stamped address envelope.
Stamped address
But
envelope.
no, don't worry about it. We'll pay for the postage because otherwise an envelope won't get you many goodies. Get you a few stickers. But we might. No, we won't. We will send you the first letter.
First letter.
First one. Do anybody know how to do letter anymore? Do.
Is there anything you guys want to get off your chest that maybe we haven't talked about?
Yes, I would like to talk about Ravi, Cabo, do. Push pineapples, giant coffee. Do.
Dun 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 ding.
To the left, to the right, to your knees.
Alright guys, thanks for watching. That's been another episode of Flair Lifestyle. I hope you liked it. As always, any information you need will be in the description box below, so please check that out. Feel free to leave all your comments in the comment box below. I will read through all of them, and if they're worth it, I will even tell Andy and Tom about those comments, and who knows, maybe they'll respond to you. Or maybe they won't. Who knows? Anyway, that's it. I'm done. Peace. See you next time. Whew. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey.
And now y'all can say goodbye.
Goodbye. You still there? Go. I bet you haven't watched all of this anyway, have you? I bet you haven't. Oh, don't touch the lens.